Hey, Harijs.
Hey, good evening. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jos.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Happy
Yeah,
to be here tonight.
good. I think everybody is really excited to get started with the From That Love quiz. Thank you very much for doing this tonight. Usually, of course, as everybody knows, we have a From That Love meetup going, but we like to switch things up. And Harijs usually does a From That Love quiz every Wednesday via our social media channels. And once every few weeks he does it live via our YouTube channel. I see that a lot of people starting to join again. So I'm gonna hand it over to you, Harijs, and thank you very much for organizing this.
All right, let's have some fun with JavaScript. So yeah, as Jos said, we usually post a challenge every Wednesday. So they're like static questions you can answer in your own time till the deadline. But now and then we want to do some live game. And this time I actually have picked out questions from what we asked in the last 3 weeks. So if you did our quiz, you'll be on a good start. Today I have mainly JavaScript questions with code examples, maybe a bit on the hard side with some trickiness in them. So the question time is around 30 seconds. I hope with the casting, the delay is not too big. So I reckon it's around 2-3 seconds. So you should still have enough time to think it through and make a good answer. So yeah, be attentive. The questions involve code. You have to choose the answer, which is usually the console log output at the end. Most questions have like at least 2 concepts in them. You have to figure out one idea, and that idea then is incorporated in a further part of the code. So yeah, be attentive, pay attention, and choose the best answers. I was being told that the first prize is a hoodie this time. So yeah, if you win, make sure you leave us your contact. I think when you sign up, you also were able to enter your email, so we'll know who you are. And I think without any further ado, let's get to it. We have a nice number of 18 players. So yeah, let's start it. I'm clicking on start. So if you are ready, then let's go. So number question 1. What does console log output in this case? Is it a valid code? Is it 2? Is it 3? Or is it 4? We have 6 answers, 7 by now. And the right answer is 3. And no one answered that. So the question was trickier than expected because yeah, the result here is 8 taken to the power of 1/3. So that's actually root of magnitude of 3. So it's the outcome is 2 here. And here, before getting logged out, that number is getting increased by 1. So the answer is 3. So yeah, as I told, be careful. The questions are tricky this time. So yeah, make sure you look at the code correctly. So no one has answered yet correctly. So so you all are on the same footing to keep going and be attentive and try to answer questions as well as you can. Next question is, which of the HTTP headers is used to control how long a connection should stay open? All right, it's keep alive. Very good. So most people got it correctly. Let's move on. So we have Dexter leading with the score. Very good, Dexter. Okay, next JavaScript question again. So what does console log output in this case? Take a good look at the code, study it correctly. Take your time and make sure you click the answer. Very good. So this time we got mostly correct answers. So this wasn't one of the hardest. So here we're just adding foo to the outcome of bar function, and foo is constant 5, and here it's being enwritten in this function scope. So it is 2 inside here. So this means raising a number to a certain power. This means you're raising 2 to the power of 3, which is 8. So 5 plus 8 should equal 13, and that's what it is. Right. And Mitsotakis taking the lead. Let's go to the next question. Again, what does console log output? And we have, again, majority answering correctly, a couple answering that it's actually 2, but no, the correct answer is 3. Let's take a look why. Because, yeah, we are logging the outcome of function set, whatever it returned. And, yeah, here for messing it up, I'm declaring a variable 4, but here, of course, in this scope, it is 2, so that's all fine. However, there is this weird feature, quote unquote, feature of JavaScript that even though you return from the try block, the finally block runs afterwards nevertheless, and that actually takes precedence. And here, before returning, we are increasing the variable by 1 number, so 2 becomes 3. That's why the correct answer is 3. All right, doing well. So CD Willard in first place. Next question. Again, what does console log output in this case? Take a good look at the code and click on the right answer. All right, only one correct answer. Yeah, I guess it was a hard question because nobody that often uses this type of syntax. Yeah, it's a way of also invoking a function with the backticks, with the template strings, and the first argument is an array consisting of all the fragments, and the second argument is the first dynamic part in the template string. Okay, let's move on. JavaScript question: which of these is not, I repeat, which is not a primitive value in JavaScript? Which is not a primitive value in JavaScript? And it's the null. So even though you guys thought it's big int, but yeah, it's already been introduced in JavaScript spec. It's actually a primitive value, the big int, simply as a bigger a range than a regular number. However, null is not a primitive in JavaScript because it's an object. So again, another bit tricky question. So yeah, be careful, be attentive. These are questions on the hard side. All right, Dexter taking the lead. But yeah, the top 3, actually all top 4 is pretty tight. So anything can happen in the next 8 questions. Again, what does console log output? I hope I can make the code bigger because I saw a comment. Somebody said it was too small. I apologize for that. I hope you guys can see the code good enough now. All right. Correct answer is 3. So majority answered it's 4. Let's take a look. So yeah, it was a trick. Sorry, the correct answer that it's 6. Majority answer that it's 4. It's a trick question, of course, because set, of course, keeps unique values. And here in array, I have 2 values repeating. I'm sorry, yeah, 1 and 4. So actually there are 4 unique values. However, what I am setting a set of is keys of the array A, and keys, of course, go from 0 till 4 in this case, and they are all unique. So therefore, there are 6 elements in the set. So that's why the right answer is 6. Okay. Dexter gets further ahead. Next question. What does console log output in this case? Is it a promise, syntax error, or 27 or 9? All right. So 3 persons got the right answer. So again, another trick question. It's a syntax error in this case because you can use await only in asynchronous functions, and bar is not an async function. So trying to run this code would throw in a syntax error. So yeah, be guys careful and study the code before answering well. Next question. What does console log output in this case? Reference error, very good. So I guess most of you noticed that this is not math, this is moth. Again, not a trick question. Yeah, it's just a typo. So there is no moth object in the scope. Typically, if you would run it in a browser or in the node. So very good. Most of you got it. Moving on. Question number 10. Okay, what does this code evaluate to? All right, only one correct answer. So most of you thought it returns a string, native implementation of string. However, it's not the case. It returns actually a string constructor itself. So let's walk through this. So C is a variable, which is a string with a value constructor. But every value in JavaScript has a constructor, like number has a constructor, function has a constructor, also string has a constructor. So you can access the constructor of any string with accessing constructor property. So this C of C would return that function string. However, here we're invoking it. So we're invoking function string with an argument C itself. So we're creating a new string out of this. And the value of the string is constructor. So at the end, it returns the same string constructor. Yeah, quite contrived and tricky question. So let's see what's happening in the score. Very nice. Akul got to the 3rd place. Well done. Okay, 11th question. What does this code evaluate to? This is what I warned you about in the beginning, that a lot of questions have at least 2 concepts in them. So there's one concept happening and there's then another one. So you have to figure them both out to get to the right answer. Oh, 3 persons got it right. So let's take a bit of look at it. So the tricky part is that the variable underscore in this case is default return of math min. And math min here is called with no arguments. The tricky part is to know that if you call math min like this, you get infinity. I was puzzled by that too for a while, but then I realized the idea is this. Because internally, math min compares all the values it can find and returns the minimal value, of course. So let's say you would call math min with any number, then it would compare that number with infinity. And that number would be obviously less than infinity, so math min would return that number. So by default, if you don't pass anything to min, it just returns you infinity. And here we are constructing a function out of a string, and you can do that. You can construct a new function like this from string. Yeah, it's just as bad as doing eval, so never do that in production. However, you can do it. So this is the tricky part. So you can pass in the function body like this via string. Here you would just return infinity, and then we would invoke the function, and therefore we would get infinity as a result. All right. So next question. What does console log output in this case? All right, only one correct answer. That's sorry, only one answer undefined, but 5 correct answers. That's good. So yeah, there's nothing too super tricky. Just knowing that in JavaScript object keys, all actually under the hood are strings. So even though if they're indexed by number, they're actually strings. So here, these values are getting overwritten. Number 1 is getting overwritten by this, and number 2 going overwritten by this. And here, even though we pass in a number, we're still getting the latest value, which is coming from this. So the correct answer is mushrooms. And 5 of you got it. So let's see. Mitsotakis getting closer to Dexter, so every chance to dethrone him before the quiz ends. Now Dexter looks good to win the hoodie. So what does console log output in this case? All right, only one correct answer in this case. So somebody had a chance to move on in the top. So let's look at the code. As you can see, the cities come from the show La Casa de Papel. I'm a fan by now. It grew on me. Anyhow, what's happening in the code? We have 4 cities in an array, and we're calling shift method, which returns and removes the first element of the array. So what we are left is only with these 3. So Helsinki, Tokyo, and Denver. But here we are mapping cities to something, and what we're mapping is to we are destructuring the first element of the string. So actually, you can destructure both arrays and also strings, because a string is a collection of characters. So what's happening here, when we're mapping it actually to the first character of the city. So what we're getting is an array of first letters, so H, T, and D. And here we're just joining them all together in one string. That's why the final result is one string with letters H, T, D, right? So that's what it is. And let's see who got it right. Nobody from the top 5. All right, so it's still tense. 14th question, what does console log output in this case? All right, very good. Most of you got it correctly. Yeah, actually 50-50. 6 persons got it correctly and 6 not. So let's take a quick look. So here the concept, you have to know that you have set keeps only unique values. Here we have 1 and 2 repeating, so those we shouldn't count. So when you create a new set, you get now values of 1, 3, 2, 5, and 7. And here is just a typical reduce, where you sum all the values together. So all you have to do is count, sum all the remaining numbers. In this case, it's 18, and half of you got it correctly. So that's pretty good. And Mitsotakis taking the lead just before the last question. So anything can happen. So last question. Guys, get ready. Final question. What does console log output in this case? It's probably the easiest question of them all. I didn't leave it to be the last one on purpose. I randomized the order, but it's still there anyways. The final question. All right, 9 of you got it correctly. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you guys know that objects are, when they're instantiated, they are put in memory by reference. So yeah, they are not the same. They're not primitive values. So this comparison would yield false. And let's see who got in top 3. So it's Angelisco, number 3. Number 2, Dexter. And number 1, getting in the lead in the 14th question and keeping the lead, Mitsotakis. Wow, awesome. Congratulations. Awesome, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. This quiz was a bit more on a hard and tricky side, because last time I got a bit of feedback that questions were too easy, and this time I thought, okay, let's see how much fun we can have with more trickier and advanced questions. So I really hope you like this. Congratulations to Mitsotakis, and keep joining our weekly quizzes. We usually publish them on Wednesdays around 5 p.m. Central European time. We usually put a deadline for 3 hours till 8 p.m. But sometimes we host live quiz like today. So yeah, my name is Harijs. I'm from Passionate People and from Frontend Love. It was my pleasure. I really hope you enjoyed this, and see you and talk to you soon.